Hello everyone, I am Dr. Kapil, welcoming you all at Sriram's IAS. As you know, we have started a series of picking up news and explaining it through the lens of geography and particularly geography optional. Now today we are going to discuss something which is very prevalent in India and also in Pakistan, and yes, it's not about tensions over borders, it's not about tensions in India or say Kashmir right now because of Pakistan and its incursions here. It is actually a very geographical phenomena which is very disturbing, which creates a lot of problem, particularly in the months of summer. That is heat waves. Heat waves is a geographical phenomena which is causing lot of problem and lot of losses in our country. Now let me tell you, many of you might be taking heat waves as loo, है ना? जब लू चलती है गर्मियों में तो लोग बोलते हैं heat waves हैं. Heat waves and loo, they are not same. Yes, probably because of loo, heat waves can be created, but heat waves are created because of multiple reasons. So we need to understand heat waves in a very holistic manner. So first we'll start with this. This is a very common situation on Indian roads during the summer months. So what is a heat wave? Prolonged period of excessive heat relative to normal climate. When the heat is very high for a considerable period of time, then it is called as heat wave. It is considered as a climatological hazard with widespread impacts. Yes, it has a lot of impacts, be it social, economic, environmental and whatnot. So heat waves starts impacting lot of dimensions of the society. IMD defines heat waves based on region specific temperature thresholds. Now here IMD has certain criteria for this. What are those criteria? Let's discuss. Now for IMD, if plains have maximum temperature above 40 degrees Celsius, if the temperature has gone beyond, say absolute temperature has gone beyond in the plains more than 40 degrees Celsius, IMD can declare it as a heat wave incidence. If in coastal areas it is 37 degrees Celsius or more, or say in hills if the temperature has gone beyond 30 degrees Celsius. Why hills? Because hills are supposed to be cooler because of their altitude and altitudinal impact and cooling down, that is normal lapse rate. Now in hills, if it has gone beyond 30 degrees Celsius, then it can be considered as heat wave. Now the other type of criteria can be when heat wave can be declared if the temperature has gone beyond 4.5 degrees Celsius to 6.4 degrees Celsius above normal. What is this normal? We'll discuss that. That means whatever the normal maximum temperature is of that area, if the normal maximum temperature has been breached by more than 4.5 degrees Celsius or say up to 6.4 degrees Celsius, it is called as a heat wave in that area. Or if it has gone beyond 6.5 degrees Celsius also, then yes, we can consider it as severe heat wave. And at times it goes beyond 7-8 degrees Celsius as well. Then it is called as very severe heat waves. These are. Now another criteria can be, so one criteria is this, based on the region, what type of topography it is. Second is its variation or its difference from the normal maximum temperature. Third is the absolute one. If the temperature has gone beyond 45 degrees Celsius, it can be considered as heat wave irrespective of the places. कहाँ पे है, कैसा है, कोई बात नहीं. If it has gone beyond 45 degrees Celsius, yes, it can be considered as a heat wave. And if it has gone beyond 47 degrees Celsius, you see, it is called as severe heat wave irrespective of normal. Whatever normal is, we don't consider there. So there are three types of criteria, 1, 2, and this is the third one. But we have talked about normal temperatures. Normal temperatures hota kya hai, or say normal maximum temperatures. It is the 30-year average of daily high temperatures for a specific place and date. For example, suppose April say 30th April, suppose 30th April. Now 30th April ko for last 30 years we have our measurements on this 30 April 2024, then 2023, we can go like this till 1995. So for last 30 years, what is the average maximum temperature? What if we find it as, say, 38 degrees Celsius? I'm not saying this is the true, but I'm just giving an example here. 38 degrees Celsius is the normal maximum temperature, which is based on 30-year average of daily high temperatures on 30th April. But what if 30th April 2025, say 30th April 2025, the temperature here in Delhi, say it has gone to, say, 43 degrees Celsius. This is the 30-year average, and this is the 43 degrees Celsius, the absolute temperature here in 30th April. Now tell me, here the movement has been around 5 degrees Celsius or not? That is from its normal maximum temperature, that is 38 degrees Celsius, and here 43 becoming, that means more than 5 degrees Celsius it is, or say at least 5 degrees Celsius to hai. So don't you think if it has gone beyond 4.5 degrees Celsius, it can be considered as heat waves? So this is how IMD declares heat waves. So heat waves का मतलब it is not just loo. लू भी चलती है गर्मियों में, यस, बहुत परेशानियां होती हैं उससे, बट हीट वेव्स के कॉजेज बहुत अलग हो सकते हैं. लू भी एक रीजन हो सकता है, बट यस, दिस इज हाउ IMD looks at heat waves. Now, causes, be it atmospheric or say climatological, we are going to discuss. Now here, there's a concept of subtropical high pressure, which inhibits convection, clear skies and intense insolation. Chalo, we'll come here. Now tell me, say if this is the globe, this is the globe, and here it is your equatorial low pressure belt, but around 25 to 35 degrees north and south around the tropics, you have subtropical high pressure condition. Now tell me, high pressure, what does it mean? Suppose if this is the low pressure, that means air is or wind is converging here and moving up, right? This is the condition of low pressure. But in high pressure, what happens? High pressure conditions mein the air from above, it actually keeps coming in, it actually keeps sinking. That means here there will be lot of air present, so this becomes a high pressure area. Now let me tell you, when it is a low pressure area, don't you think when air goes up, evaporation will happen, evapotranspiration will happen, it will create clouds, etc., probably can create rainfall also, or say there are clouds, so insolation will not be that intense, because clouds can actually reflect lot of these incoming solar radiations. But in this situation, let me tell you, there would be no cloud formation because air is not moving up, air is not carrying any moisture there. So here there would be no cloud. That means the skies are very clear. If you see these days, suppose you are in northern India, probably you look at the sky looks very clear even during nights. That means it is the high pressure condition here and the clouds are not being formed. If the clouds are not there, that means you are going to have very intense insolation. The sunlight beating down will be very, very intense. So yes, temperature can increase. So this is something very natural, right? Second, the jet stream ridges and heat domes trap heat. Now, what is this jet stream? How they affect? Now, let me tell you this. Suppose jet stream is actually a upper tropospheric, very high speed winds, as you know, jet streams. When they move, they actually meander, right? To just conserve the momentum, or say just to conserve the energy of their movement. Now, these jet stream actually, when they move something like this, right? Suppose this is the jet stream, like a pipe, but it meanders. Now suppose it is moving from west to east, obviously it moves always from west to east. Suppose in India right now, ऊपर की तरफ में से दिल्ली के ऊपर, there would be a jet stream. It is called as subtropical westerly jet stream. Subtropical westerly jet stream. STWJS. Now there is a law. When This is called as by ballots law. Even if you don't understand, just listen to me. This is called as by ballots law. Now this law suggests, what is this law? Chalo, I'll explain here. This law suggests when a jet stream moves, say in the northern hemisphere, then this jet stream will have certain anticline, syncline, anticline, syncline. Now this can be called as a ridge. This can be called as a trough. Now here over the trough, there will be low pressure conditions created. Upar, say I am saying in the atmosphere, and here over the ridge you will have high pressure conditions. Here high pressure conditions, here low pressure conditions. Now tell me, if this high pressure, or say any area which has the presence of the ridges of jet stream, that means the ridges of jet stream, suppose, try to think, suppose this is India, suppose suppose this is the high pressure conditions here, say in India right now. Now tell me, any wind, suppose it, even if it becomes very hot, the winds actually want to go up just because of the convection. Yes, because they have become very hot because of sun beating down, and they want to move up. So when they want to move up, they actually want to release their heat in the upper atmosphere. They will make cloud, probably it will condense. But the problem is, if you have a jet stream ridge there, now this jet stream ridge will have a high pressure condition. High pressure condition will suggest that the air coming up will be discouraged, or say air coming up will not be able to dissipate or will not be able to go anywhere, because this is a high pressure condition above, which is actually discouraging the upliftment of the air only. Now it is almost like a lid. ऐसा लग रहा है कि ढक्कन रख दिया किसी ने, ढक्कन कैप लगा दी है किसी ने, और कोई भी चीज ऊपर आ रही है but it is not able to move because उसके ऊपर एक ढक्कन, एक lid, एक कैप रखी हुई है. So it is like this situation. So above Delhi this becomes like this, or say in the northern plains or anywhere where you can have this type of ridge of a jet stream, it will be very high pressure above, and it will discourage the convection currents. Now tell me, if this is so hot and it is trying to move up and there is a lid discouraging it to move up, so what will happen? All this warm air will be confined in this region or not? In this region, all the heat will be trapped or not? Yes, and this trapped heat, don't you think, will lead to increase in temperature? It will lead to increase in temperature or not? So yes, it can be another cause. Now this is also called as, it's like a dome, so it is also called as heat dome. Say suppose यहाँ पे नीचे the air is trying to move up but it is not. Say next page, suppose ऊपर there's a high pressure condition that is of the ridge, right? Something like this, it's moving. Now tell me, all the heat which is trying to move up, it is not able to dissipate, so it will create a kind of dome like situation above that place. This dome like situation will be very, 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 very hot, creating heat waves. And this whole phenomena, because it looks like an omega, you see here, this looks like an omega sign, so also at times called as omega blocking. You can use all these terms in your answers. Yes, so it will be like a heat dome. This is your heat dome because of omega blocking. Now I hope you understood this. So there are two subtropical high pressure conditions, jet stream. Then failure of western disturbances. Failure of western disturbance, as you know, suppose this is India. Now in India, from Mediterranean Sea, lot of temperate cyclone, they keep traveling towards India, which also cause around 5% of rainfall in India. But what if in some years these tropical cyclones, or sorry, temperate cyclones, they are not able to reach India in a very efficient manner. That means they are not able to create good amount of rainfall in northwestern part of India. Don't you think this will be creating again temperature rise, because rainfall would have created a very moderate temperature, but because of lack of rainfall the temperatures would be very high. Now ENSO event, that is El Nino. As you know, El Nino is a current which blows, it's a warm current which blows or which flows along the western coast of South America. When this happens, it has a tele effect. That means it will start affecting the multiple regions in the world, which also includes India. In India also that year, the monsoon will be very, very weak. However, this was last year, we actually got saved, and this year El Nino is not about to come. In fact, La Nina has just taken place. So probably it will actually not bother us much this year. Now, another cause, for example, surface and anthropogenic, if you can include here, urban heat island effect, which is heat retention in cities. Now tell me, our cities, suppose humanity started and you had nothing but all these vegetation, all these natural settings. But as soon as you started creating cities, tell me what happened. First, you created a lot of buildings, removing all these vegetation. Now all these buildings are full of concrete, asphalt, all these materials which actually get very, very warm. आप गर्मियों में कोई दीवार छू लो, कोई सड़क छू लो, तो ऐसा लगेगा कि हीटर पे हाथ रख दिया है. They are so warm. But tell me, अगर आप मिट्टी के ऊपर ऐसे हाथ रखोगे, क्या उतनी गर्म होती है? या किसी वेजिटेशन के ऊपर? नहीं. But हमारे जो अर्बन एरियाज हैं, all the cities, they have so much of buildings and they trap so much of heat. We have lot of vehicular emissions also, which will again cause lot of heat. We have lot of ACs. We have lot of these black metal roads. ये जो काली सड़कें होती हैं, कितना हीट एब्जॉर्ब करती हैं. जो बिल्डिंग्स के कलर होते हैं which are darker in nature, they also absorb lot of heat. So पूरा का पूरा city, it will become like a island. Island का मतलब अपने surrounding areas से its temperature will be 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6, 7 degrees Celsius greater, which is actually very dangerous. Deforestation reduces evapotranspiration. Obviously, when you reduce tree cover which is able to absorb lot of heat, now it is not. And in fact, the evapotranspiration is also being discouraged. इसका मतलब जो natural ventilation था वहां पे, that is also discouraged. Dry soil and land degradation increase sensible heat. Suppose you are in an area, it has good vegetation, right? If you just walk on those lands which has good vegetation, probably you will not feel that much of heat from the land. But tell me, आप अपने छत पे जाओ which is full of concrete, और रोड पे जाओ जहां पे कोई vegetation नहीं है, and you just walk on those. Can you walk? No, because the sensible heat is so much. And that's what happens in the urban areas. Climate change increase baseline temperature and spatial extent. As you know, the climate change is closely associated with global warming. Global warming, that is the global average temperature is increasing. Don't you think it will also add to the frequent and intense heat waves occurrence? Yes, this will happen. So these are the certain causes. Now, spatial distribution of heat waves, if you look at it, that means where in the world or where in India you find lot of heat waves. See, in US, Southern Europe, Middle East and Australia, you have lot of heat waves. These for last few decades they have been occurring now. Because let me tell you, they face so much of problem because generally they lie in the high latitude region. So उनके जो घरों में जो ACs होती हैं वो कूल करने वाली नहीं होती हैं, वो होती हैं गर्म करने वाली. इट्स मोर लाइक अ हीटर दे हैव AC की जगह पे, बिकॉज ऑलरेडी वहां पे बहुत ठंडा है. सो दे हैव ऑल दिस वार्मर एंड हीटर. बट टेल मी, इफ दे स्टार्ट और इफ दोज प्लेसेस स्टार्ट इंक्रीजिंग इन टेम्परेचर, सो टेल मी, they are not able to live in their home, they are not able to go out. In fact, they are always there on the beaches, swimming pool and all of this. Their productivity actually goes very much down. The concept of heat dome and omega blocking, they have been all in news because of heat domes being occurring in Canada, in Europe and in Australia. So there have been lot of occurrence of these heat waves in those regions. In India, the core zone is obviously Rajasthan, Gujarat, Vidarbha, Odisha and Telangana. All these places, generally your Delhi and western UP region also, they have lot of heat waves. Emerging zones, new zones which are not supposed to have heat waves, but they are also now having heat waves. Let me tell you the places in India which are closer to coast. Don't you think they should be moderated by the sea effect? But they are not, because of the increasing global warming, climate change and also these urban heat island, etc. So these areas are also now getting heat waves, which is actually very unusual and dangerous. So Kerala, coastal Andhra Pradesh, parts of North India, all these places starts having heat waves, which becomes very problematic and dangerous. Now impacts human: heat stroke, dehydration, mortality among vulnerable groups. Lot of this happens. Aap news padhiye, every day in the news that some people died because of heat wave. Some people in Bihar, some people in Delhi, some people in say Rajasthan, they died because of heat waves. जिसको बोलते हैं इनको लू लग गई. लू क्या है? लू तो एक लोकल विंड है विच एक्चुअली मूव्स फ्रॉम थार डेजर्ट, पाकिस्तान की साइड से इट मूव्स टुवर्ड्स से नदर्न प्लेन्स. Yes, it can increase the temperature by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius, but it is not just the loo. These are the other, the factors which we have discussed for this. So yes, these are all the problems. Agriculture, crop failure, wheat, pulses, mango, livestock stress. आपके जो animals हैं, जो crops हैं, they are not able to function well because इतनी high temperatures में their productivity goes down. आप तो घर में AC लगा के बैठ जाओगे, but जानवरों का क्या है? कैसे करेंगे? ठीक है, तो इट इज नॉट एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिकली पॉसिबल उनके लिए कि उस हाई टेम्परेचर्स पे दे कैन मेंटेन देयर प्रोडक्टिविटी. इकोनॉमिक, रिड्यूस्ड लेबर प्रोडक्टिविटी, हाई एनर्जी डिमांड. टेल मी, द लेबरर्स आर वर्किंग इन फैक्ट्री और इतनी गर्मी हो जाएगी, आर दे एबल टू वर्क? यस, दे विल एक्चुअली डिनाई टू वर्क. दे विल से वी कैन नॉट वर्क इन सच कंडीशन. So yes, this will become problematic thing. Your productivity will be gone. जैसे जैसे heat waves होती है, probably it's not because of heat, but because of high heat in India, we have these summer vacations. Summer vacations होती हैं. But don't you think आजकल in factories also they are not able to function. Their machines are not able to work in that heat or say in that high heat conditions. Forest fires, drying of wetlands, biodiversity loss. Now, monsoon is coming. Let me tell you, I really don't want this, but I know this will happen. This has been just an occurrence. Monsoon के आने के पहले you will hear of forest fires taking place say in Uttarakhand, Kashmir, or say Himachal, or say Odisha, or say Central India. All these places have lot of forest fire just before the monsoon hits India. And yes, one of the reasons can be the high heat. Urban heat island versus nighttime temperatures. In fact, in areas like Delhi, where it is actually affected by the urban heat effect. In fact, this urban heat effect or urban heat island effect, it is actually very much sensed during night, because in night time, what do you expect? That all these surface which has become hot during the daytime, it will cool down. But because of that urban heat island effect, they are not able to cool down even during night. And the nights also become very, very uncomfortable. Stress on slums and informal settlement. Yes, they're already on the margins, and heat waves actually create a lot of other problems for them. Now, solution can be, there's a short term, that is heat action plan, IMD alerts, shifts, works, hours, etc. Probably you can work say early morning or late evening. Probably the afternoon and say the early evening, they can be avoided. People on the road, actually they have to work. They cannot actually shift their working hours because they are not that well off. So probably it can be done at certain sectors, in certain sectors at certain point in time, but not everywhere. And yes, IMD alerts, probably say if you are in Delhi or say anywhere, IMD keeps sending you messages that today there's a warning for heat wave, please do not go outside, or even if you go, do take care of yourself, right? So such alerts can actually make you take care of yourself extra. Long term mein urban planning, green roofs, school pavements, agroclimatic adaptation, all these things happen. That means your cities must become more climate resistant, more global warming resistant. There must be greenery, there must be Nagarvan, there must be urban forestry. You might have heard of Miyawaki method. You might have heard of this Miyawaki method, where in urban spaces, closed spaces, you keep planting lot of trees. It's like a small jungle it becomes. Again, it can actually give you a lot of solutions, be it say disaster, be it say heat waves. Governance, NDMA guidelines, SAPCC integration can also help you in tackling all of this, but they are all very long term, and this should be done. Short term is something, yes, it can solve the problem for now, but for the long term solutions, you need to go for this. Now, a case study, India and Pakistan में heat waves आया. For example, April में the temperature in Barmer has gone beyond 46 degrees Celsius. And let me tell you, it was yesterday's news that in Jacobabad or in Pakistan, it has actually touched 50 degrees Celsius as well. So tell me, such high temperatures, they are actually making the place unlivable, non-acumene. People cannot live there. It is uninhabitable. Now, impacts, crop damage, power cuts, 19 deaths in Bihar, storms. Yes, thunderstorms can also be a associated factor with this. Now, here cause was early El Nino, absent WDs, that means western disturbances, and urban amplification. All are these factors which are causing heat waves in these regions. Also add subtropical high pressure condition. Also add subtropical westerly jet stream, that is a ridge position, which is also a high pressure condition. So yes, you can actually make a case study out of it. In examination, you can actually write it down, but I would suggest do create a map. Now, there are certain previous year questions which I want you to look at. Paper 1 se, in geography optional. In 2020, the question was about heat budget, role of heat waves in imbalance. There was a clear question. Now tell me, heat budget is whatever heat you take from the sunlight or say sun, the earth actually send it back to the space during night. There's a balance. But what if this balance is disturbed? What if because of heat waves, we are absorbing more heat than we actually release? So don't you think it will actually create an imbalance? So yes, this was actually a commentary on this. आपको इसके साथ associate करके आंसर लिखना था. But yes, if you are clear in your head in concept, don't you think you can write a good answer? Anthropogenic impact on temperature patterns. Temperature patterns, yes. What kind of temperature patterns? Obviously, global warming की तरफ जा रहे हैं हम. So don't you think global warming can also be associated with these heat waves? And the heat waves which are say more of anthropogenic impact, urban heat island, I gave you an example. Don't you think you can actually link it with this? Heat waves origin, frequency in South Asia. South Asia के बारे में we are actually talking India, Pakistan. You can also include Afghanistan, Myanmar, Bangladesh also in this if you want. And this was the question, and you can now talk about how the heat waves actually get originated, and then urban heat islands and consequences. Again, not the direct one, but yes, you can actually use this concept there. So tell me, in all these questions, you can use this discussion or not? And it is just about paper 1. In paper 2, it can be 2022 mein heat waves as a disaster preparedness challenge. There's a disaster management cycle in which there's a part called as disaster preparedness. Now, if you know about heat waves, don't you think you can actually talk about its solution or say its preparedness, more of say long-term wala thing, which I discussed with you. Regional, in 2016, regional climate variation and agriculture. I'm saying it is not just about the heat wave, but yes, heat waves and the regional impact on variation and agriculture can be talked about. As I told you about weeds and pulses, crop failure, livestock, etc. ऊपर से आप ये भी बता सकते हैं इंडिया में कहाँ पे heat waves हैं और कहाँ पे there are more places where heat waves are becoming more frequent. In 2012, changing monsoon and extreme weather patterns. Now you had to link it with monsoon and also how monsoons are impacted by the extreme conditions, and one of the extreme conditions can be your heat waves, the other thunderstorm, the other cloud burst. So there can be a lot of other extreme events happening, but yes, one of this is your heat waves. You can always give an example here. So yes, you can actually answer this question partly with the help of this discussion. So thank you very much for hearing me out. I hope you are understanding whatever we are discussing here. If you want to ask any further question, you can always get connected with me on my Telegram channel. This is my channel, and also here at X. So if you have any problem, you can also pin down, or you can also comment in the comment box below this video, and we'll be able to help you out in the comment section as well. Thank you very much.